Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again to episode 7 of Diski Den. Today, we'll be talking about all the new news, a little bit about the Super League. We'll be talking about the Hall of Fame that the Premier League just announced, our feelings, who we think should have won, if we think the first two people deserved it. And we'll also be doing locals, lacquer, and other sports news here and there. We'll also be joined by a very illustrious guest later on, so please look forward to that. And someone else might just pop in. You don't know, man. It's going to be crazy recording today. It's going to be just crazy. We're recording in the day for the first time, and the lighting looks good on my side. I don't want to lie, bro. This natural lighting, man. It's not too bad. But anyway,
that red background makes you pop.
Oh, bro, the reds. Okay, so we're not that red right now, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, let's start the show, bro. And I think, if you want to introduce the first topic, go ahead. But I think I know what we're gonna start with. I think I know what we're gonna start.
Okay. What's up, guys? It's Nino, Diski dude here. Welcome to the Diski Den. So, on the last episode, we spoke a little bit about the Super League. When the news broke, we weren't really prepared. We didn't know that the news was going to break that night. What a coincidence. So, all the news came, it passed. We all know what's happening with the Super League. It's been scrapped. Apparently, it's suspended. That's what Fiorentina Perez says. Anything can happen. It's going to be a topic that's reoccurring in football. We can guarantee you that. So we just want to have our closing statements about the Super League because we never really gave our actual opinions on the league. We just briefly touched on it. So we're just gonna say how we feel about the entire saga. And do you want to start? Because I have a feeling you have a lot to say about it. You look like someone who has something to get something off their chest.
Yeah, I actually do. And we spoke about this personally on the side, and my feelings actually haven't changed. And I'm about to say something that might be a little controversial, but I think you guys should just hear me out just a little bit. I'll try to make it quick. First and foremost, let me say, I don't agree with the Super League. I wasn't for it in the beginning. I don't care. I don't care if it changes anything. I want things to stay the way they are personally. So when it comes to the Super League itself, I was not going to be a fan of it if it did happen. Now, let me just give my little 2 cents as to why I think this thing occurred. Because remember, guys, this thing was happening for a long time. This isn't anything new. This isn't anything that came out of nowhere. It's not last week when they started with the Super League thing. They've been planning this for a long time. And I think I know why. First and foremost, we have to look at football as it is, financial. Because this is a financial thing. Don't get it twisted. This is about greed. Because everyone is on that greed tip. But I think everyone is saying greed because it's not your money. If you guys were in these positions, you'd be making moves yourself. And this was a move. And I think this is a move based on the climate of football today, especially in the financial point of view. About 10 to 15 years ago, a man called Roman Abramovich took over Chelsea and changed everything when it came to finances. He became the club. His money was the club's money. And clubs were not ran like that, at least generally at that point. The club ran on whatever profit the club made, based on the fans, based on the attention, based on the money that it accumulates. And Roman Abramovich came in and said, F all of that. This club is going to be run by my money. And after Roman Abramovich, we're fine with that. PSG did the same thing, and Man City did the same thing. With PSG, there was 200 million put on the table for players. And with Man City, there was more than 15 players. Within 4 seasons, more than 15 players worth more than 15 million. Now think about that. Truly think about that. And think about the fact that clubs, generally, football clubs, run at a negative. That's facts. I'm not wrong. The people that do the research and look at the finances are wrong. If you think I'm wrong, talk to them because they say they ran with a negative. Real Madrid, Man United, Liverpool are ran with a negative. And though they have done a lot of progression when it comes to TV money, sponsor money, gate money over the years, they still not making that much profit, really. Just enough to keep the shareholders happy. Now, at a climate where players are worth 50 million, I'm talking about average players. I'm talking about Florent Torres. Florent Torres, y'all know who that is? I don't too. Apparently he's some Spanish player that Man City thought was 50 million. Before that, 50 million was your Henrys. Ronaldo was barely over 50 million. Cristiano Ronaldo, Ballon d'Or winner already. So if you look at it in that point of view, the money's up, all that's up. And I think that what they were trying to do was trying to showcase that, y'all might think he's super rich, but we're not really.
I've got a question for you. Is inflation added in all this maths that you're doing? Have you taken inflation into account?
Yeah, I have. And I don't think inflation has changed to the same degree that the market has changed. You have to weigh them together. Has inflation increased or decreased as much as the market has increased in football? I don't think so. And between 2008 and 2005, we went through a financial crisis. So I don't know what part that plays, but it doesn't make things better, I guess. So that's why I think this was in discussion.
Okay, so now you mentioned those clubs, guys. We're going to close off this topic, but it gets really interesting when you actually dive deeper. You mentioned these clubs, the founding clubs, your Chelseas, your PSGs, your Man Cities, right? These startup, these clubs that were funded by oil money or mega rich businessmen. What about the Galactico team? What about Real Madrid? What influence do they have in this? Because this is coming from Florentino Perez. They were known as a club that were buying people for crazy amounts of money. Are they a club that you could put in this pool of responsible teams?
No. And the reason why is that they've built a legacy that allows them to be that team. Man City hadn't won jack. PSG had won one UEFA long time ago. And Chelsea before that had like 2 leagues. So unlike those teams, Real Madrid has a legacy. They are Europeans' greatest team. So if there is a team that can deal like that can form a Galacticos, that can form that, everyone needs that special team. And Real Madrid is that special team. There's nothing special about Man City. There's nothing special. It could have been Aston Villa. It could have been Newcastle. It could have been Leicester. It could have been anyone that got taken over. Man City had nothing to do with the success that they have right now. They didn't do anything legacy-wise to earn what they got.
Okay. Well, there was QPR. That was a failed system. So a lot of Man City people are gonna say you're dropping hate. You're gonna fight with the Man City contingent. I'm gonna let you deal with that.
I can fight with all 3 of those guys. I can bring all 3 of them over.
I'm gonna let you fight with them. We have a guest that's gonna join us in. You guys know this face. He's part of the Diski E07. Sosa's joining us in a few, but before he joins us, I just want to give you guys my closing statement on the Super League, right? The curious part of me wanted to see this. I know it was disruptive. It was very disruptive, actually. And maybe the chaotic part of me wanted to see how everyone was going to deal with it. The football purist in me doesn't agree because I feel like there's a lot of greed in play. But the little curious part of me wanted to see how the domestic leagues were going to continue. right? I wanted to see if this thing actually continued, if we were going to have champions like West Ham, champions like Leicester, and what it would mean to have champions like that without the top teams being in that competition. You know, it was going to change football forever. It was undeniable. They were going to, I don't want to use the language I'm about to use. It was going to bastardize the sport, you know, or Americanize it. It was going to change into something completely different. And Florentina was talking about changing the actual game, the rules of the game, wanting to shorten the actual game, saying people don't watch 90 minutes anymore. Talking about 16-year-olds to 24-year-olds aren't interested in football. He was saying things that if he was put in that position of power where things were allowed to happen, the Super League was given the green light, those changes were going to come too. Whether you like it or not, football was going to be an hour. You know, it was all crazy things were going to be introduced. But we'll see how it goes. Like I said, it's going to be a recurring topic. It's going to come up again. We'll discuss it. Maybe our views will change. You know, people are saying FIFA and UEFA is the lesser evil of the two, and that FIFA and UEFA have some changing to do themselves before they accept something like a Super League. Also, welcome back to the Diski Den. How's it feel to be back?
Good.
How's it feel to be back?
Yo, so glad to be back. I watched that podcast the other day. You guys killed it. It was nice and short, kind of explanations, and I could tell that it was just original from the top of the head. There was no planned things, and I like.
You know how it is. You know what to expect from the Diski dudes. Funny. Yeah. Tell us about your team. Yeah. Big things are happening to your team, and what a way to hop on to the next topic. What's happening with your team? The
boys, that's what's happening. They're finally listening to instructions. Got too cool. As with Tuchel, I'm not gonna lie, I was excited about that. I got Tuchel, but I stretched with Tuchel because Tuchel actually knows what he's doing. Because I watched him from his Dortmund days and all of that. PSG, it wasn't so much because he didn't really have that much competition on the domestic front. Only did the things when he went to the final last season. Even though he had a shitty midfield, but still Alenzi pressure. And when him Tembile, hence my shock. Like I think I mentioned it about Uzodota because his team just deteriorated this season by PSG. And I don't know, man. It's like he lost the thing of the players, but I'm glad that we got him now. And the boys, like boys, even Kepa's looking good now. So I love it, bro. I love it. Like it was what I expected when Lampard made all those signings for Kibikali season. It was what I expected. But of course, Lampard bought all the players, but couldn't exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so you would say Frank Lampard actually did buy the right players. You know, it's players you want for your club in any case. So Sebenzile in that sense. Tell me about Frank Lampard's son, the mighty Mason Mount.
Whoa.
A lot of people were hating on Mount during Lampard's era. Myself included. A lot of people were hating on that boy. And I decided to keep quiet because it seemed like he was carrying Chelsea, and it seems like he's still doing the business under Tuchel. By the way, I love how you guys pronounce some names. It's going to cause a lot of very interesting comments, Payan.
Why do I keep freezing? Hey, money freezer. But anyway. Mason Mount, I know Mason Mount. He is the future. He's definitely the future. Like Lampard, I can see what he saw in him. He saw his work rate, he saw his work ethic, and he saw a lot of talent that just needs the right amount of game time, so to speak. So the boy is good. He's pulling the strings in the midfield. He's looking like our talisman and all of that. Because you can tell, like when Chelsea are playing and he's not there, or when he's playing out of position, like when we were playing Brighton. Yeah, Bonagal, but no. But otherwise, the boy is good. The boy is good. Like being at all under Frank Lampard, because Lampard was playing him every single time. And I was like, Lampard sees something that we don't, because my friends were always like, give him time. Come now, land about Lampard, match, mount. I got that rest, the kind of thing. You know what I mean? So
and can I just add, maybe another factor to that was the fact that Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi, Ziyech, Harvard, when you list those players, you're like, how? How?
Yeah.
Listen to those names.
Yeah.
Listen to those names.
Yeah.
So I think that played a small part.
The mighty Mason. I always loved Mason. I have a thing for underdogs, and he seemed like he was an underdog partner starting 11. I had no choice but to stun him. But
he's a little underdog.
Yeah, I had to stun him in silence because fan base being up full. In any case, guys, it's UEFA tonight. It's UEFA tomorrow night. Your team is in. Your team is out. Madrid is in. Two of us.
So we're playing each other tonight, bro.
I don't. We're the insiders right now, so I don't want to ask us about predictions. I want these predictions to come out the club. What's happening?
Yeah.
What's happening tonight? What do you foresee with semi-finals? First leg, second leg, or maybe it's too early to talk about the second leg. Let's just make predictions.
First leg. Yeah. So namhlanje is Chelsea and Madrid. So I don't want to give my last prediction of the final and the winner of the final. Actually, Madrid's winning this crap again. So what that means is that Madrid is gonna beat Chelsea. Take that however you will. I'm just saying Madrid's gonna win. I don't care how they get to that win, but they're gonna win, and that will mean that I do think Madrid is gonna beat Chelsea. Madrid is playing. It's the game is at Spain, so I think today's game is going to be something like a 2-1. It's going to be very close. It's going to give Chelsea fans a lot of hope. They're going to dream. They're going to see the final. One goal. If we just score one goal at Stamford Bridge, it just takes one goal. That's what's going to be said. But the real ones are going to know it's over. Sorry.
Okay. Hey, I'm all for Madrid winning. In my lifetime, I will have, if Madrid win this UEFA, I will have seen them win UEFA 5 times in the space of 10 years. I may retire from football. I've achieved it all. 5 and 10 is a good record. When will I ever experience something like that? And
when Leeds finally wins the league.
Okay, well,
how about that?
That's the next thing to look forward to. Leeds at this point, they would win the league by being here, because if Super League went through, Leeds would win it. I'm telling you. So look at the league right now. You look at the top 6. Okay, they've gone right now. Who would they be competing with? West Ham and Leicester. That's it. Now
Everton.
Leeds is making top 4 every season. I'm full off.
But anyway, I'm actually curious to hear what you guys think about the game, since both your teams are playing. You have to tell me your predictions, because one is going to go Madrid, one is going to go Chelsea. But what do you think about this time?
Yeah. It's a question I really don't want to answer. Like, I don't even want to lie to you. I don't even want to answer it. That's how nervous I am. Yazi. when we played Iporto, then the draw is gonna, if the winner of the Madrid game is gonna play us, I was like, okay, as Chelsea has never played Madrid in the Champions League. As far as I've watched Chelsea and Kumboli Sitlali Madrid Champions League. So now I'm hoping that we are going to destroy Thibaut Courtois and then Simvale, Benzema, Simcime. But the one thing I'm looking forward to most is how we are going to contain that Madrid midfield, because Kroos corner, Casemiro corner, Modric corner, and that's the three-peat midfield. A midfield layer winning three-peat. So I want to see how we contain them. But I feel we do have a fighting chance. They also very compact, very organized, and the boys, you can tell, the confidence is high. Like Yabonaga, the boys are playing well. Sano Betty Manchester City in the semi-final, which is no easy feat for FA Cup. So I'm feeling quite confident, bruh. Like, I don't want to call who's gonna make it through, but if Madrid make it through, they're taking Champions League. That's all I'm saying. If Madrid get past Chelsea, they take whether Basson, Man City, whether Basson, PSG, they will win Champions League, because Madrid, I think, the record now was like 100% in Champions League finals. And Zidane, Frotman. So yeah.
Speaking of which, Madrid, I think they're playing a different type of Champions League this season. The mentality is different. I don't think it's no longer a three-peat mentality. I'm fantasizing in my head. What I'm saying is not based on truth, but this is what I'm thinking. All the players that play for Madrid, they do not contest the Super League, right? And I don't think they could. Because, you're playing for Real Madrid and your president wants this thing to happen. I'm sure he pitched an idea, pitched a dream to these players. Okay, sure, maybe Bayavuma, maybe they don't. I think they're heading into this Champions League final on some, we're a super team. So we're gonna prove a point. We're playing to prove a point. We're trying to showcase Banyani, we're too good for this competition and we need to play other clubs. And if they win Champions League, it's gonna bring upon a different type of discussion. But do people really want to watch the same? It's gonna bring back the Super League conversation. So maybe a different club, like if PSG win this, PSG aren't involved in Super League, right? They're gonna bring the opposite mentality. They're gonna bring that, things gotta stay the same. Dreams are valid. You can't buy dreams. Look at us. We came from the mud, and we finally made it to the final. Yeah, they didn't come from the mud, but you know what I mean. They grinded. They spent a lot of money.
Expensive mud.
Yeah, it's expensive mud, but they came from it. So it would be nice to have that final, PSG versus Real Madrid. Those mentalities, Super League versus the way things are, FIFA, UEFA. It would be a nice clash. It's a nice narrative. But now if two super clubs, two super teams face off in the final, I think the buy rate for the final would be low. A lot of ratings are low this year for many reasons, right? The Oscars had low ratings, all the award shows are having low ratings. All these things that we are so used to are just suddenly having low ratings. And maybe people are craving something new and they ask. But I do think Real Madrid will win. I do think so. I want them to win. I mean, they're the only club I'm supporting here. I'd never want to watch a club like PSG. I have something against PSG. I don't want to see them win it. And I don't want to see City win it. I just don't want to give Pep the credit. Unfortunately, I don't. I don't.
Me too.
Missiles. Yeah.
It's fine.
But they are two. The fact that it's City and PSG playing, it just, I know a club I hate is going to be in the final in any case. So Let them come. Let Madrid deal with them.
I just want to add.
Yeah.
I just want to add something. I like the fact that Kulef for his 4 teams is on the underdogs as us. So everyone, that's 10. So now with that underdog tag, I'm gonna keep quiet and I'm just gonna stay in my lane. I'm just gonna observe. I'm gonna observe tonight's game. I'm gonna observe the PSG City game. I'm gonna observe the second leg, then 2. That's all I'm saying. Like I like the fact that the fact that we are underdogs means there's no pressure on us to win.
Yeah.
So the boys might just surprise you.
Mostly gentlemen. We've got another Diski dude who stumbled into the Diski den. We've got Basson, head of social media at Backpage Images. What's up, man? So glad to actually have you on the show. AB, guys, has his own show called Diski Discussions. Do check it out. We're gonna put it in the description below. So check it out. There's some interesting guests on his show. Thanks for gracing us with your presence, man. There's a topic you wanted to talk about that caught your attention on social media. You've been going crazy on Twitter, saying the most. So I'm just gonna intro what's been driving you crazy, and you're just gonna get straight into it, right? So guys, yesterday, the Premier League Hall of Fame came into action. They pressed play, and they gave us 2 players. You know, the first 2 players, Thierry Henry and Alan Shearer. So just 2, but they're gonna put in quite a lot of players in there. There's been a short list of about how many players, 30 or so. And a lot of people are having their say about who should be in it, who should not be in it, how this thing should work, what's it about, why is it happening? Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that, Burton?
Yeah, so I mean, I've had some social media fights in my life, you know, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. But for the first time in history, I had one on YouTube yesterday. You know, that's just the type of person I am. Someone made a comment under a Supersport video saying that how can they include Shearer, and, you know, Shearer is one of the first 2. And I was like, geez, have you actually watched the Premier League? You know, did you watch it in the 90s and in the 2000s? Or did you only start watching yesterday? Because obviously Aaron Shearer is by far the leading goal scorer, 260 goals in the Premier League. And obviously Henry was always a no-brainer, because I think a lot of people view him as the best player ever in the Premier League. You know, guys, people always come with this rhetoric that, you know, Cristiano Ronaldo, but he wasn't the best player when he was in the Premier League. He became the best player in the world. Okay, he was great in these last few seasons at Man U, but he became what we knew really at Real Madrid. And what really frustrates me is I think a lot of people don't get the concept of Hall of Fame. Like, just to give an example, like the Basketball Hall of Fame only inducted Michael Jordan into the Hall of Fame in 2009, and he retired in 2003 for the second time when he was at the Wizards. So it's not always the best players immediately. The Hall of Fame is a running thing. So it's not just, you know, okay, the shortlist has come out now, and I put out my 6 votes, but just because I didn't vote for, and I don't know why I didn't vote for Andy Cole, but not because, just if he doesn't make the next batch of inductees, doesn't mean he will never make it. There's going to be another one. That's how Hall of Fames work. And I think a lot of people are missing that point. Like, all of these players will be in the Hall of Fame one day. So just because Paul Scholes and Ryan Giggs, and, you know, Ryan Giggs is another topic, he probably won't be in the Hall of Fame for a while now because of what's going on in his personal life. And maybe he should have been, you know, the first inductee because he's got the most league titles and the most appearances and whatnot. But, you know, end of the day, that's not what Hall of Fame's about. And I love you guys' input on it all. And who do you guys think, who do you vote for in the next 6 votes? I think we each get 6 votes. I'll tell you guys who I voted for, but I'd love to get your input on all of this. And yeah, let me know if I'm wrong or right.
Yeah, who's gonna start?
Let me jump on.
I thought immediately. I was like, okay, anyone. It seems like anyone with the Premier League can qualify, should qualify. Anyone with the Premier League, right? I don't think you should win. You should be in the Hall of Fame if you don't have the Premier League. Just one of those things. My personal opinion. So I'm gonna start with the players that have more than one. Start with the multiple winners of the Prem, and then I start looking at Manchester United automatically, right? Like you said, the Ryan Giggs, your Paul Scholes and stuff. What you just said kind of flipped my stance on the Hall of Fame for a bit, because I thought maybe get the best players in first. And maybe that shouldn't be the case. Like, you should always have players to kind of bring spice to it. You bring in a world-class player 3 years from now after building the Hall of Fame and always keep it relevant, right? So let me throw in some names. I'd put in Paul Scholes in there. Put in David Beckham. And then I'm done with United, I think. Then we go to Liverpool players. I'd put in. You see, you can't even put Gerrard in there. That's that. Oh my goodness, that's tough. I have to swap. I have to skip Liverpool.
Why can't you put Gerrard in there?
Because he never won a
I
Prem.
can say why.
Never won a Prem.
Nah.
What are you?
But he won UEFA. But he won UEFA.
But this is Premier League Hall of Fame. It's not UEFA Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but I think
so the
that's
UEFA doesn't count.
No, not for Prem. Not in my opinion.
Okay. Crap opinion, but I'll continue.
Yeah, I know for a fact there are a lot of people who agree with me. You want to put in Lampard in there? Definitely. People are going to start saying I watched football yesterday. My memory is quite bad now. I don't want to pick the obvious Manchester United players. That's 3. I'm going to stick with 3. Those midfielders for now. I'm going to stick with 3. Sorry it's not 6. Otherwise, we're going to talk about it forever. Guys, what about you? Who'd you vote for?
Let me quickly go through, because I can put up the 6.
Okay.
Henry and Shearer, right?
Yeah.
They deserve to be there. They're the 2. I would have actually jumped in and put in the manager, Sir Alex Ferguson. To me, he's a no-brainer. Giggs didn't win the most leagues. Ferguson should be mentioned before Giggs. Should be mentioned before Giggs. But if you want to stop the players, that's cool too. I would put in Gerrard, personally. I'm a Liverpool fan. Now put him in because he carried a crap Liverpool. Liverpool is never Arsenal because of Gerrard. We're never that bad because of Gerrard.
Okay.
I would also put in Didier Drogba. Didn't score that many goals, I know, but the dude was bloody important for Chelsea. And to me, he's like the face of Chelsea. It's not really a player thing or a talent thing. It's more of like the best African player. That is a stature of a player. Didier Drogba. And I personally, and I know we talked about like attackers and all that stuff, but I would drop in a defender there. So I'd drop in Rio Ferdinand, because I think Rio Ferdinand was an amazing defender and should be getting a shout out. That should be 6. So my extras would be Gerrard, Ferguson, Drogba, and Rio Ferdinand.
Yeah. On my list, quickly, I forgot about John Terry. I'm forgetting so many players. There's going to be so many players in this list. Oh my goodness. So what about you?
Yeah, for me, the thing is, the Gerrard thing, I'm 50-50. With Gerrard, I wouldn't include him for the mere fact that he didn't win a Premier League with Liverpool. But I would include him for the mere fact that he played for Liverpool and he was loyal throughout, like the name Liverpool. I knew it through Steven Gerrard.
Then put Mark Noble in there. Then Mark Noble's going to be the...
But otherwise, I agree with Abo. Definitely, Alex Ferguson made Manchester United. Like, everyone that jumped on the Manchester United train is because of that guy. They owe it to nobody else. aware he had the players like Giggs and Scholes, but they owe it to nobody else but that guy. So yeah, Sir Alex Ferguson, definitely. Who else? Yeah, it's a tough one though. It's a tough one. But yeah, Frankie Lampard. I think Frank Lampard deserves to be there as well. As a Chelsea fan, personally, I think he deserves to be there. And of course, Ryan Giggs. Ryan Giggs has the most assists, and he has almost 100+ more assists than the second guy. So enough said. Ryan Giggs has to be there, regardless of scandals and things like that. Because at the end of the day, it is about the football more than it is about the personal life, what he did for the game of football and all of that. So yeah, I definitely put Giggs in there.
Okay, so your sound is.
I'm sorry.
We have an issue with your sound.
Oh, sorry.
Just with your earphones. Burton, I want to ask you a question while he sorts out his sound. Is the Premier League Hall of Fame, does it count players before the inaugural season of the Premier League as we know it?
No, I think it's just from 92 when the Premier League started. So otherwise, I think guys like Ian Rush would have obviously been on the ballot for the first inauguration or second round of inaugurations. Obviously, Shearer and Henry were the first two. But I've got to agree with the guys. I think Sir Alex Ferguson, it will extend, I think, to managers. It should. I mean, that's how Hall of Fames work in America. And I think it's largely based on the American model. So I think, Sir Alex is obviously a no-brainer. And guys like Giggs, Scholes, all these guys that won a lot, but I don't think that's just the merit. I know otherwise guys like Letitia won't even be there. I mean, Shearer only won one Premier League title, but he's best known for his time in Newcastle, not for the title he won at Blackburn. So, he's in the Hall of Fame more for the fact that he actually, what he did in 10 years in Newcastle. And that's the same for Gerrard. Just because he didn't win the league doesn't mean he's not a Hall of Fame player. That's just... For me, that's a simple take.
Hey man, I'm just getting my hate on.
Because there are a lot of great players that never played, they never won a league title. And like you guys also said, it's to do with the Premier League in the end of the day. So it doesn't matter what you did in European competitions. And there's been a lot of great players, but I just think people shouldn't get too worried if their player misses out in the first or second round. The best players will make the Hall of Fame, be it today, tomorrow, or in 10 years' time. That's just how it's going to be.
Cool. Sosa, is your sound working? You're on mute. Cool. So, Burton, last way.
Can you hear me now?
You can, but it's really rough, bro. Yeah, we'll cut that.
I know it's chilled.
Yeah. Let me get an edit point.
I just wanted to say, when it comes to your little YouTube comment situation, bruh, like some people, bro, like Alan Shearer. Of course, you dumbasses. Of course, you dumb asses. The guy's the top goal scorer. He's basically Mr. Premier League. Us growing up, that's our dad. That's everyone's dad. If you got into Premier League, you grew up knowing Alan Shearer is the guy. He's the man. I don't care how many leagues he's won. I don't care how many trophies. First of all, he played for his childhood team and became the top goal scorer in a crap team. That is his childhood team. I don't see any of these other players doing the same thing. Giggs is from bloody Wales. He should be playing for St. Patrick's or something.
But the thing is, he's got that one moment of lifting the Premier League. There are pictures of him lifting it up. That is the bottom line. That's me getting my hate facts. It is facts at the end of the day, but it's also hate. I'll admit, I'm being a hater. We need haters in the world because it seems like they're the only ones dropping facts right now. Guys, let me know if I'm capping. Drop some cap comments, if I'm capping. Burton, one question for you before you leave us. I know you're a busy man. Do you want to see a model like this make its way to other leagues in football, like in Serie A Hall of Fame? You get a South African Football Hall of Fame, or do you think if we have too many of those, it will kind of make it less valuable or less novel?
Yeah, I like the idea. It's a very American idea. Hall of Fame. If I think of Hall of Fame, I immediately think of the NBA or NFL or whatever. But I think it's cool it would be nice, I think, for leagues with a lot of history. I think the Premier League, it's only 30 years old, so it tries to be pretty new in its thinking and stuff like that. And I think it's very cool, and it will get fans involved, and there'll be a lot of debate around it. So I can see why they would do something like that. I think in South Africa it's a bad idea, because any moment we start voting, then we saw that with when Oscarine Masualuke scored that great overhead kick, and then Simphiwe Shabalala won the goal of the season just because fans voted for him. So I think anytime voting is involved in South African football, it's a bad idea. But yeah, I enjoy the model. I enjoy the debates around it, and people getting their voices heard. It's very difficult when you go between generations and trying to choose the best players. If you think of the debate around Maradona, Messi, Ronaldo, Pele, there's always going to be disparity, because people that saw him live will have a different opinion of people that only watch highlights. And that player might be a lot more special for you because he had a bond with your team, or whatever the case may be. But I really enjoy the model, and just to give a quick answer to your question, I would love to see it in other leagues. I think it's very cool. And it just adds, a little bit more, gives a little bit more prestige to players who deserve it.
I actually feel I'd learn more about some of the other leagues that I don't watch that often. It would be nice to know who their legends are. I only get to see their legends on FIFA. When they make the classic team, I have to wait for you till you're 70 years old until I know what you were about. Abu, you got anything to say about the Premier League Hall of Fame in closing?
If we were to do it in South Africa, I expect Mbesoma, not Dr. Kumalo, to be the first inductees of that. And I don't want to hear any other names except for Mbesoma and Dr. Kumalo. That is it. If we're going to do that from South Africa.
Well, I've got a surprise for you. If it's going to come down to voting, Kune will be number one.
Oh! Hey!
You're triggering the Kaizer Chiefs contingent here. People are
Damn. Don't remind us about this current team.
Look, if you're allowed to talk about Arsenal, I'm allowed to talk about Kaizer Chiefs.
Damn it.
But anyway, guys, that was AB joining us in the Diski Den. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. Guys, do check out Diski Discussions. They are our rival podcast, but we do things differently over here. We share the love. We all share the space. We all support one another. So do check out his podcast. If you're liking this episode, don't forget to drop a like. Click on that notification bell so you know when we have guests like Burton on the show. We're going to have so many different type of guests, guys. You never know who's going to be on the Diski Den. You never know. Thank you once again, Burton.
Thanks for having me on Diski Den. Well, if you like podcasts, then, think of it like Messi and Ronaldo. And if you like Messi, then come towards me. Because, big Messi fan. If you like Ronaldo, maybe just make your way over to mine as well.
We're going to get... I was about to say we're going to get a lot of fans talking like that.
Anyway, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Ciao.
Cheers, man.
Ciao, brother. That has been Diski Den, guys. Thanks once again for joining us for another great episode. I want to thank our guest, AB, for coming in, talking about the Hall of Fame, giving us his take, telling us about his little rivalry, little tip on YouTube. Guys, calm down. Guys in the comments, calm down, relax. We all have our opinions. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. Please like, subscribe, ring that bell to get notified when a new video is coming out. Join us, comment down below. Tell us what you think about the Hall of Fame, who you think should have been the inductees or your top 6 inductees. Guys, there's a lot of football to talk about. Thank you once again for joining us for another Diski 10. It's been Soso, it's been Nino, and it's been Abo.
Cheers,
Catch you guys later.
Cheers. Put your ratos in Hall of Fame.